Hey, welcome back to Straight Talk. So before the break, we're talking about Facebook, and of course, Facebook. One of the things on Facebook that comes up again and again, I'm always getting emails about joining this cause, that cause, every other kind of cause there is. Stop this, stop that, everything. Okay, and one of the ones that has come up there a lot recently, and I was looking at it and I said, should I bite on this one? Because just say yes. What the hell? But it's
You're easily influenced, huh? Just say yes.
Well, it's
I
just
would
sort
just
of,
say
but
no.
you can't get rid of it, Anyways, but anyway, the thing was about the sexual predators, like for a call for a list for sexual predators in Ganawagi. Now, apparently, every week. At the end of Straight Talk, we put it out to our viewers. If you have comments, if you have questions, suggestions, and this one apparently is one of the ones that came in.
Yeah, it is. I guess one of the things is that I guess a lot of people, only because they don't know what the law is, I mean, they're adamant about what is a possible scenario about somebody who has a conviction for a sex offense. But in the United States, they have registries that are public. You can go to any state online, look at the sexual registry, type in a name, and it'll give you all the information, what happened, when, and all that other stuff. Here in Canada, I won't say just Quebec, but in Canada, there is a registry, and it's done by the RCMP. So it's one registry that's, I guess, administered by the RCMP. They don't actually put a lot of the information in unless it's a situation that happened with one of their districts. But basically, it's the arresting municipality, city, or whatever happens. Once there's a judgment done, the court's petitioned for this person to go on a sexual registry, and then it's up to the arresting agency to put that information there and monitor whatever's going on, if the person is in a community or not. However, it's not public. The conviction's public. If you wanted to go to the court to look it up, that information, you can go. Anybody can go to the court. Once there's a conviction, it's public. It'll be on there. But as far as to be on a sexual registry, whether they are or not, you don't know that, and you won't know that because of the law.
Yeah, but again, this all comes down to an emotional nerve, and rightly so. People, their children's lives are deeply wounded, affected, ended because of sexual predation. Okay, people who just really don't care, or they seem to be incapable. Whether it's who knows. But what you know is that when it comes to your kids, I mean, as a man, as a father, as a mother, I mean, if somebody harmed your kids, and this is one of the things I think why they don't, I mean, to bear that in mind. There's just a case that was in the media in the last couple of days about this guy who's he's being sentenced. As a young guy who borrowed a computer from his neighbor, who was some old guy, and on the computer he found all this kiddie porn on the computer, and in a drunken rage beat the guy to death. Okay, took the law into his own hands. So that's one reason why people don't. But on the other hand, how many times have you heard stories about a guy who's had multiple convictions for pedophilia, for abusing children? Next thing you know, he's living next to a playground. He's living next to a school.
Yeah.
People would, they want to protect. I mean, that's the thing is, how do we balance all of that stuff?
And in recent years, we've dealt with something like that from somebody who's, I guess, directly or indirectly from this community, and did have a conviction in the U.S., in Massachusetts, and actually, our media as well as Eastern Door printed and spoke about that. And the police never gave out that information, or the council never gave out that information to anybody.
Well, you got one guy in council now because he was on the force,
Exactly.
and was put off the force for it. And he had huge support from the community. Of course, we're talking about Carl Horn.
Yeah.
And he took a stand for him, which was about his personal convictions and principles, which, I mean, I think that's a huge part of why he's in office.
Yeah. And you know what, and I agree with him 100%. I mean, if I talked to some of the officers actually who were there, and they were keeping an eye on this individual at the time, and I know where they're coming from. I just don't agree with it. I don't agree with nothing happening or nothing going on at all. And it was a wait and see. The wait and see could have been my kid or somebody else in this community's kid.
But wasn't that guy a fugitive?
Yeah,
from the state. I mean, like, what do you wait for? I mean, you know, it's
The
I
thing
know
is,
again.
yeah.
You get into cross-border, cross-jurisdictional issues.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean that. Even it doesn't matter what it is. I mean that's I guess an extreme case, but there are other cases. For instance, say you commit a crime in Gaspé, and there's a warrant for you, and then the warrant is, if it's not a Canada-wide warrant, then nothing's going to happen if you get picked up, because there may be a radius warrant of say 100 kilometers or 200 kilometers. And then when the police phone that agency, say, well, I have the person here and there's a radius warrant for them, are you going to come here to pick them up? And they're going to say, no, we just, we know where he is, but we're not going to go there and pick him up, even though that there's a warrant for you.
Yeah.
And then our police are just going to release you because there's nothing else they can do. If it's a Canada-wide warrant, it becomes a different issue. Or in the States with this person, it was I guess it was a statewide warrant, but even then the extradition would have taken a long time to go, especially two countries. It's different when you're dealing with the same province, but when you're going from a different province or to a different country, it all depends on what you did. So that's what makes it.
No, but it really does call into question in terms of okay. What are the criteria for putting a statewide warrant or a province-wide warrant or a limited warrant out when you're talking about something like that? I mean, they go after people who are living right out of the continent. They're living in Asia, and they go get them.
I agree 100%, and I'm probably a bad person when it comes to stuff like that, because I have a big problem with that about anybody, regardless of whether they're from this community or from another community, that have a sexual offense and have a record and been convicted and or spent time or are on that registry and I don't know about it, and they're living next to me. I mean, I'm pretty vigilant about who lives around me, and I nose around about stuff like that, but at the end of the day, other than me telling that person, you better never come near my house, I can't do anything about it, even if I knew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the police are in the same situation. They can monitor and they can do that, but if they know, they can't tell you anyway. Like as police, you can protect yourself because in a lot of cases, you know who it is, but you can't tell anybody else. And the law in Canada says that you can't. If you went and tell and put something in the paper or you told people public, you can get charged and fined. I think the fine is up to $10,000, and the sentence is 5 years. So the person lives next to you, and it's by a playground and by a school, and then you tell everybody else about it, you can get arrested for it. You know what I mean? So it's like
that's crazy in a way, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah. So you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. And it's the thing is it's tough. I know people are saying, well, we don't care what everybody else does. We do it here. But at the end of the day, everybody has rights. I don't agree with their rights, but they have rights. And as a police department and or the Mohawk Council, they can't infringe on those rights, even though they do in some other situations. But
And then of course, then we're finding it like in Ganawagi, you know, the subject of banishment always comes up.
Yeah, and that's
You know.
yeah, we'll talk about that because this is a big picture, and a lot of people are concerned, and rightfully so. But we're going to take a break, and we'll be back right after these messages.